Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Not too much has happened since the last update, which came a little late, the last update here on YouTube. I mentioned that in our WhatsApp channel and also on Discord that I uploaded the video first to Twitter, to X, because YouTube had some upload problems earlier today. So if you don't want to miss future updates in case there is a technical issue again, you might want to check out the Twitter channel as well. You'll find the link in the description, because if there are events like these, you know, to avoid delays, you can usually find the video on Twitter, on X, if there are upload problems on YouTube. So just to mention that. So it came, I think, one and a half hours late or something, that Bitcoin video, compared to when it was recorded. So basically uploaded directly to Twitter. Okay, anyway, let's start with the Bitcoin chart. Only want to focus on the shorter time frame because in the previous video, no, I think in the last video yesterday I covered the daily, so no point covering the daily again. And this is now important and interesting what's happening here. So what we are focusing on at the moment is this 1-2 setup. Yeah, so if you participated in the journey, if you watched previous videos, then you know how this 5-wave move up developed over recent weeks, okay? From the 4th wave low that formed here on the 5th of July, that was the larger 4th wave that started in March, to possibly wave 1 of a larger 5th wave. So we have a 5-wave move up, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and we could still be in wave 5. So we're still working on a 5th wave. Well, it might have topped. We were watching for the 5th wave. So 1 second. We were watching for the 5th wave to reach at least 68,550. So I'd be happy if it tops now. But we still need to consider that it could easily go higher. So for example, the 4th wave bottomed here. And the 5th wave reached minimum targets. But it could easily extend further. And I highlighted in the previous video that my first indication that I would use as an early indication that a top is in place, I would use the trend line. So there's a trend line here. You could even draw a channel. You know, there's a parallel trend channel, but we don't need the upper boundary line. The lower boundary line is just fine, which is here. This trend line, this green line. Now, trend lines are not exact science. They are sometimes unreliable. Sometimes you get fake outs, but that's why I say a break of the trend line is an early indication that a top is in place. So I haven't told you yet that we've topped. Oops, 1 second. I haven't told you yet that we've topped. I've marked it here with a question mark that we may have topped because the price really reached everything that it needed to do, minimum requirements. In an update yesterday, I posted that I would still prefer it to go a little bit higher, because if we already topped, then this wave C of 5 is just a little bit short. In the updates I posted on Discord earlier today, which you can access as gold members, I wrote it very specifically. Just another note to say that unless there is at least a break below the trend line, there is no indication for a top, which leaves the door open for further upside extensions. Yeah, for an extension. And now I've just added the microstructure basically. But as long as we're holding that trend line, there is no indication of a top. So that's why I sometimes say, you know, in these videos, they are 5 to 8 minutes long, sometimes a bit longer. Sometimes information gets lost. Sometimes I don't say everything I want to say, you know, just because we're all human, right? Sometimes you might miss something because you do something else while you know, listening to the videos. I always give my best to really put everything concisely into writing for these updates and signals that gold members can access, because I really try to help you save time, you know, in the gold membership. And really, there should be everything is there in writing, so you can go back to it. So if that's interesting to you, check it out. I'm just saying it because, you know, sometimes there was an occasion recently where someone said, "Oh, but you never said that. Oh, it could be this or that." And I said, "But yeah, okay, but you know, it was there, you know, in the membership. Obviously, you know, you might have missed it in the videos. I'm sure I said it, whatever. But it's everything's there to stay up to date. You might want to check it out. But just want to highlight, this is precisely what I've been saying. Until we really get that break of a trend line, there is No indication we've topped. Okay, what constitutes a break of a trend line? Right, so obviously we had a break, but the 1 hour candle never closed below it. It's difficult to say what really constitutes a break of a trend line. It needs to be a convincing break. Here, this seriously snapped back. So there is no break of a trend line, okay? There's an attempted break of a trend line, but that gives me clearly no indication that a top has formed, especially because a break of the trend line would only be the first indication. It's not confirmation, it's not even certainty. Next indication would be a break below the last low here, which formed at 65,850. And then we have to break through this support zone first, okay? So there's a lot of work required, and I mean, this wave 2 should take a little while. I mean, the wave 1 to the upside in 5 waves started on the 5th of July. Okay, so now a few weeks have passed. So I'd say 1 to 2 weeks that wave 2 should take, okay? Now, it's obviously not entirely clear if we've topped already. Again, there's no indication we've topped yet. We could have topped. There's no indication yet. So from a tactical point of view, I think it's too early to go short. If you're shorting this, I think it's too early to go short. You might use the trendline break as a short trade signal. But bear in mind, we are in a bullish market, and shorting in a bull market is always more risky. I'd rather use a pullback if it occurs as option or opportunity to accumulate. Tactically, I will buy everything below probably 64, 65K. If we break below 64K, I will probably start buying. That would be below my last price that I sold for. And also tactically speaking, I've started to take profits around 64, 65K of the positions I bought here in this area, around 55K roughly. And however, only in batches, because it could still go higher. And that's how tactically you can cope with that uncertainty. But I think it's very clear. We have a 5-wave move up. I assume that on the 5th of July, the market bottomed. I assume that the market bottomed as long as we're holding above 56,460 support for this wave 2. It is possible that we still go higher, but any break below the trend line, if convincing, will increase probabilities that we've already topped there. So that basically, whenever the minimum requirements for a 5-wave pattern are fulfilled, we have to be watching for a top. But it's not confirmed yet. There's not even a signal. So that's where we are at the moment on this chart. The uptrend is still intact, but clearly the bulls are struggling a little bit. Also, if we take a look at the relative strength index and looking at the 1 hour chart, there are bearish divergences that are appearing here now. So yeah, just watching on the 1 hour chart, looking at the 4 hour time frame, we also start to see these bearish divergences, okay? So I'm just saying, on the daily, what's the daily doing? Daily isn't even giving me any bearish divergences. That's fine, which supports the overall bullish thesis. So yeah, that's the update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.